welcome everybody to the Watch List, your virtual TV guide, if you will. We review all the top shows released on all the streaming platforms and let you know what you should be watching. Of course, here as part of the LNN, the Latin Nerds Network. And as always, I'm joined by my very lovely co-host, of course, live from Houston, Big Bro himself, the ambassador of love, our TV specialist, el señor Jaime Romero, aka Chewy. What's going on, brother?
What's up, brother? What's going on, man?
Ready to get into it? Another good week. It's like 3 weeks in a row. We've had a lot of stuff released across all platforms, movies, shows.
I've been busy.
Yeah,
It's been a busy month.
yeah, it has been. Last two shows we put up, we talked about a lot of good stuff. Things like Atypical, the last season, Fear Street in terms of the movies, heist documentaries. I know everyone's allergic to a documentary. Trust me, it's really good. I'll put those links to those shows at the end of the video so you can go back and catch that. But let's focus on this week, except I do actually want to touch base on something, a couple of shows last week, which we recommended both highly, but we hadn't actually
Okay.
finished watching them. So things could always
Yeah.
change. The show can start good and tank. So obviously, the two shows are Never Have I Ever and, of course, Dr. Death on Peacock. Both of these
Cook.
ended up really, really well. Dr. Death's a show we really loved about, starring Christian Slater and Alec Baldwin about, a true life story about a doctor in Texas, so quote unquote doctor, who operated
Of
in a,
course, of course,
yeah,
Texas.
of course. Damn Texans. I love you guys. But they has a show, a doctor who operated, and he's a spinal surgeon specifically, operated on 30 people, over 30 people, and all 30 people got hurt, or some of them died, etc. That one ended really well. I Never Have I Ever. Another one I thought ended really well. I finally got the heart. The first half of the show, it's kind of lacking the heart for me. It introduced that in the second half of the season. Of course, kind of a coming of age story about an Indian girl in high school and getting into those high school hijinks, narrated by the great John McEnroe. So I
Yes,
still,
yes.
after watching him, I'm still recommending him highly. Chewy, I assume you're on the same board, same page with me.
Yeah, no change of opinion on my side. Both ended great. One was a limited series. The other one, haven't heard yet, but I hope it gets picked up for season three and beyond. But yeah, the hard element came back. Spoilers. So they brought back the father in one scene in episode. I'm not sure if episode 9 or 10, but anytime he's brought back, that's the heart and of the story. The moral of the story really is as he's brought in as a spirit, obviously, because he did pass away, at the beginning of season one, and so when he brought back into this dream sequence and having that great father daughter moment that you couldn't have or she can't have, but has to rely on just his memory and to kind of rely on give her the fatherly advice to help her get through whatever situation she's going through. So great show, great ending, and hope season three comes back next year.
Yeah, I hope so too. It's a really good, fun, good, lighthearted, funny show with some heart. And Doctor Death, I still think it's, I'll
Oh,
say top
but
five this year in terms of shows that I've seen.
oh yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah,
it's that good.
absolutely. Both great
Yeah,
shows.
so
Yeah,
yeah, must watch.
but I mean, I think I'll say this again. I think John McEnroe makes this show.
Oh, of
The
course.
writing in John Mac's delivery. I mean, he had this great line on the last episode. I mean, it was a classic. It was something to the effect that where the guy she's into is coming over at night and he's embarrassed by her. He's still hurt by what happened earlier in the season. And John McEnroe throws up this line. It's like she's serving up like hummus at a supermarket.
Yeah,
Just so
no, he's so good. I mean, we grew up with John McEnroe. And I did. Our dad played tennis, and I used to play tennis a while back, and used to watch it. John McEnroe, he was a pain in the ass, but I mean, people loved him.
yeah,
He's still great as far as I'm concerned. So, two of those that I just wanted to kind of go back. I always want to be sure you guys, if you guys catch some of these shows that sometimes you might not, if you didn't see last week's episode, these are shows that you should be watching. But let's move forward with the new stuff here, and we'll start with the movies. There was actually three movies released, two on Netflix, one on Amazon Prime.
hmm
And the
hmm
first one here, movie called, and this one kind of surprised me. Actually, I don't know if you watched this or not. I didn't let you know I was going to talk about this because I saw it
yeah.
yesterday. And that is a Netflix original, Blood Red Sky.
I did not just because obviously the theme, the content description it just didn't do it for me, and I
Oh
was
man,
like,
that's what did it for
no.
me here. Now, just to get an idea
If
what this is, because listen, it's a German movie, and I know again there are allergies to some subtitles get people you can't watch it dubbed fine. But German has given some good stuff. Dark, for example, Chewy,
no,
you and
hell
I know
yeah,
that show,
yes.
sci-fi time travel show on Netflix, 3 seasons, fantastic. And so I gave it a shot because listen, the premise is essentially hijackers take over a plane, and before he's saying, yeah, we've seen that 1,000 times, right, for the last 50 years, and there's always somebody that thwarts the plan, whether it could be a U.S. Marshal.
Insert blanks on a
Yeah,
plane.
exactly. Some
Insert.
plan. It's maybe it's some ex-marine in there saving the everybody, or a sky marshal, or all around great guy Liam Neeson. We have none of that here. The person who they're throwing the whole plan, a monkey wrench, if you will, happens to be a mom with traveling with a son to the States, and she actually is a vampire who is actually trying to suppress her abilities and all to kind of get into a la Blade, so to speak. So it kind of blends in these two genres. You don't see a hijacking film with a vampire in it, right? And obviously, once she decides to push back, protect her son, literally mayhem breaks out here inside the plane, because yeah, there's a vampire in it, and actually did a good job of kind of even the odds, because vampire versus hijackers, it seems like an easy match, and generally it is, but they do a lot of good things to kind of even things up. It was actually kind of entertaining. I gotta say, it's not a bad film, dude. I mean, it's not gonna turn your
No,
world
no.
upside down here. You can go watch it right away, but again, I think it offers just enough in terms of it's very well made. Talking the horror element, a lot of cool gore and a lot of cool action, but a little heart in there too, man. So I actually enjoyed it, man. So I'm gonna recommend this one. If you got a couple 2 hours to kill, it's a little long, fair enough, but 2 hours to kill, it's actually not a bad little watch. You want to see a vampire kick ass? Hey, dude, I'm all for it. So, but that one I did enjoy thoroughly. Now I know Chewy, this one you did see. Of course, that is Netflix drop Kingdom, Ashin. Maybe it's pronouncing it Ashin of the North. This is very
Yes.
interesting. I didn't see this coming before, and of course, this is a prequel to the show Kingdom, which is also on Netflix, a Korean show. Am I right? Right, Chewy?
That's correct. Yes.
Right, and which has 2 seasons already. And this show is very interesting because it's a period piece. Obviously, you have these clans or whatever, vying for territorial control. Yeah, a lot of great cinematography. But the kick is that this takes in the backdrop of I guess a zombie plague that's spread out, that's come about. So there's a prince in there who's trying to save his people from obviously the clans now, these zombies. But it's done really cool. It's such an original take on the zombie genre. And Chew, again, not your thing, but you ended up really liking this show, if
Yeah.
I'm not mistaken. So it's a fascinating show. So Chew, I'll start with you here. What you thought about this prequel film?
I enjoyed it actually. I think it fleshed out the world, the story building behind obviously the first 2 seasons. We start mid pandemic per se, and the battle for the Korean Peninsula and whatnot, and so this kind of gives us enough of background on where this all really originated and how it progressed and propagated. So I found it very interesting. Great action. And actually, it's got heart because the title character we see here as a young girl, and spoilers, ultimately she's betrayed by the people who she reaches out to avenge her dad's death.
Oh, family's death,
But
really?
well, yeah, more her dad,
Sure.
right? It's very specific, but no hell hath no fear as a woman scorns. I think that pretty much sums up this story.
Yeah, yeah.
And but obviously throw in the origins of the zombie plague, and you get 90-minute quick action movie of the still in the same relative story of the seasons we've
Yeah,
seen so
'cause
far.
this ends with kind of setting up the Kingdom season one, essentially.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah, because she's reaching out to the
Mhm.
doctor, or one of the medicine men of the current king, or
Right.
the king before he died, and saying this could bring people back to life, and we see that character in the first episode of season one, and so it kind of takes off from there. So yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and even the character herself she ends up showing up in season two in the last scene, which takes place years after the ending of season two. So it's an introduction to her. Really, this is a pure revenge story, and it's an effed up one. If anything else, I mean, she goes ham on everybody, and it's kind of messed up here, but it's kind of crazy. But listen, again, you're right. Health had no fury. You crossed her, and literally she uses every resource available to her to get revenge on the clan that betrayed her.
Yeah.
So very cool film. If you like Kingdom, first of all, Kingdom's a show you should be watching. If you haven't already, the first 2 seasons are really great, especially if you're like into zombie. There's a complete different take on it, original take, and this is a good kind of setup movie that introduce you to the character you meet in season two, and obviously it kind of shows you how the whole thing started. So I liked it a lot. Very good, very good film. I enjoyed this very much. The other movie came out on Amazon Prime. That is, of course, Kate Beckinsale starring in a movie called Jolt. And listen, that's got Kate Beckinsale, so it's hard for me to say you shouldn't watch it, right? I mean, let's be honest here. But and actually, I want to start with you two. Set this up, what this movie was about, and I'm kind of curious what you thought about this one.
So basically, we're introduced to a character who has a condition. So it starts very expository the first few minutes, as or their parents and how, what this condition she's afflicted with. And basically, the story comes out that she spent her whole life trying to overcome it. And she's been through training, she's been through military, she's been through everyone under the sun to help her out and train her and help control these impulses. And we meet her where she has found a cure or a semi cure to control these rages that on and basically where she reacts with violence if she's upset in any way, shape, or form. And no matter, it doesn't matter who. I mean, we've seen her in sequences where she's imagining, kicking the waitress's ass in the bathroom because she came off as rude to her. So it's that's a little ridiculous, to say the least. But I mean, the premise was good, but the execution not so much. It just there was just something missing that wanted me to care about her in one shape or form. I mean, obviously, it's got a pretty good cast. It's got Harris as Jack Courtney as the antagonist. It's
Stanley
got
Tucci.
Bobby Cannavale, Stanley Tucci
Who's
as a
always great. Yeah,
psychiatrist.
he's always great.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
love that guy.
he's yeah, he's fun. But there's some characters that they're just miscast. I mean, the two police officers they just seemed like a couple of I don't know if they're trying to be bumbling idiots or because in one scene they're great and the next thing is like they don't care. I'm like I
Yeah,
don't
it
yeah,
was
it was just
very. The script sucked. This is Hollywood is. You know what's
yeah, okay,
this
yes.
scene was missing here. A good movie's missing here, and because that had potential. This could have been a really cool action film or
Yes.
really funny
Yes.
comedy. It could one or the other, and they couldn't pick a lane. They just try to give you both. And the comedy sometimes kind of worked, and a lot of times it was just stupid and goofy. The cops were ridiculous.
No, the cops
Yeah,
are just
they make
ridiculous. The
yeah.
whole chase scene with the
Oh,
cops and against the
just
McLaurin.
so
I'm like,
bad. It's
it's a McLaurin.
yeah, no,
Really? Really?
it's not. I mean, I don't want to get too
Yeah.
spoilery, but there's some things that happen, just like okay, whatever. And
Save your time. Don't waste your
yeah,
2 hour
I'm
and a
not
half.
recommending
Whatever.
this. Instead of for a sequel, I doubt it gets made. And if it does, I'm not because sometimes a movie can be okay, and I may be interested in a sequel. Like Gunpowder Milkshake, we talked about last week, where it was alright, but if a sequel
Yeah.
comes out, I'll give it another shot. There, I'm not watching this. A Jolt 2. I'm like, I don't even care. It's not that good. Don't waste your time. Not a good film at all. Trust me. But the Blood Sky one's 8 times better than this. So if you're looking for something to watch that. Um, the next, let's go to some TV show. We'll stick with Netflix here because we got a big release, a controversial release, if you will, and that is of course Masters in the Universe Revelations. Of course, getting it's a 10. Well, it's also be 10 episodes. They're releasing 5 now and 5 a little bit later down the road. I don't think they've announced when. Joey, correct me if I'm wrong with that. But so obviously, listen, if those are familiar with He-Man, obviously we know the story: He-Man, Skeletor, Tila, etc., Man at Arms, Orko, and it's of course
Beastman.
Beastman. This is produced by Kevin Smith. He directed at least one episode, wrote I think most of it or part of it. Either way, so it's caught a lot of heat. Critically, people are loving it. From critic standpoint, I really enjoyed the show. I'm not sure how you felt about it. And we're not gonna get spoiler here, but I'll say this before I get to you, because it starts the first 15 minutes of the first episode is standard He-Man fare. I'm like, okay, fine. It's Skeletor trying to take over Castle Grayskull. He-Man says it. We've seen it 1,000 times. Like, okay, whatever,
Like
fine.
Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Yeah, again.
Again.
Fine. I like He-Man. I grew up with He-Man. We did, and I love the toys and all that. But then something happens which changes the scope of the entire show. I was like, whoa! I did not see that coming at all. And the focus moves towards the other characters, which is really cool. And although there's still, well, I'll leave it at that. But I was very surprised at the choices they made. I know people hated the choices, and all this, is woke and it's nonsense. It's nonsense. This is a really good, entertaining animated series. Chew, are you with me here?
I am on your side of the board.
Okay, good.
Yes, I mean, I don't get the vitriol, and this is part of the problem. When you get fanboys, fangirls, fan people involved, and they're stuck in being, it has to be a certain way. The way it's got to be how they remember it, right? Cheesy, classic '80s, cartoon
Right. With
animated,
the focus on
and
He-Man, I guess, right?
yes,
Which I
yes.
get.
that's what people are wanting. We're expecting, right? That's what they thought they were getting,
Right.
and I'm glad I didn't get it. I am actually glad they literally, yeah. Let's not get spoily, but this is a complete 180, and but it's good. It's an original story. It expands way beyond the cartoon from the '80s and any comic or any toy we saw, where the character is still there. But this is a show for adults now. It's not for when I was 10
Right.
or 13. It's now that I'm pushing 50. Oh God. And I've enjoyed it.
Viejo.
Even though yeah, I know. Even though it's animated, I think I love the direction they did. It's still He-Man Master. It's
Of
still the
course, it's still
characters,
the characters.
right?
Yeah,
It's just an
absolutely.
adult story now and taking it into an adult direction, not just let me fight the bad guy. Good guy wins next episode.
Right.
No, I don't want
Yeah.
that. If you want that, go watch GI Joe. Go watch Thundercats,
Right.
whatever. Go watch Super Friends. Enjoy, have
Little
fun.
respect to
This
Thundercats
ain't
or
that.
something. Just want to throw it out there.
So I did not this enough, but I mean, as a
I know.
kid,
I'm
you
just
you you want the good, you want the
no,
clear
no. Yeah.
good versus
Of course, I
bad,
get it. Yeah. Yeah.
right? And here it's like you're not going to get a clear. There's things of gray,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And that is more an issue of the fan people,
No, of course.
right?
Yeah.
Because
The
we
the
see
open arms.
we see it in the Marvel movies where they're so focused on the comic has a character looking a certain way and doing certain things, but then in live action the movie or in one of these series, Loki, Falcon, and Survivor, they change it up. They make it different. It doesn't look like the comics, or it doesn't look like the comics. People start having, well, that's not what I wanted. Well, sorry, but I'm not here. If the comic is great, you take from the comic, you make it into a show that everyone can enjoy. You're not making a comic, you're making a show,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a difference,
A huge
right?
difference.
And if you can't, yeah, and if you can't handle that, if they're going to change it from the way it was in the comics to how it is going to on a live action, whether it's a 6 hour series or a 3 hour movie or 10 years worth of movies, you know what? Too bad, so sad. This is
Yeah,
better.
it's a lot of do about nothing. This is, and like I said, they do take risks, and they do something twice in this show. I did not expect for it to happen again. I don't want to spoil it.
I haven't gotten there yet. I
Oh,
haven't.
then
I'm
you
only
once you
episode
get to
three.
the end, and I was like, whoa, okay.
Okay.
All that notwithstanding, I enjoy that change of pace. And I think if you just again, it's just again people just it's nonsense. And listen, and if something is woke or whatever, trust me, I'm the first one gonna call you on it. I have no problem doing that or whatever. This is not the case here. Whatever you may have heard,
Look,
things are done
there's no.
organically and it makes sense. And it's not like they're not emasculating him and this nonsense. It's absolutely not. I mean, I cannot agree with that at all. I don't think you're on the same page with me, Chewy. But I think it's a show you should be watching. If you're a He-Man fan, absolutely. I think you should watch it.
Yeah, you can have
Absolutely.
you can still enjoy the original,
Of
and
course
this
again.
is just a different take and an expansion, and kind of it's growing up, right? It can't be kiddie
No, no,
forever,
I agree.
right?
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
Yeah.
I like what they do with the
See,
characters. It's a lot of
and
fun.
and if you're a person who can't handle that, then don't
Yeah,
watch. Simple as that. Just go back. Go. I'm sure you can find He-Man on YouTube or wherever. Go watch your original episodes and
and call
enjoy,
it
and go
there.
play with the great Castle Grayskull and have it, and
Yeah,
call it a day.
exactly. This is something a little bit different. Kudos to Kevin Smith, who I'm on and off sometimes with him. I thought he did a good job. I really I like what the direction's taken. I can't wait till the next 5 episodes. You wait till it ends, Chewy. You're like, whoa, okay, yeah. You're not gonna see. Something happens. You're like, damn, okay. I'll leave it at that. But definitely watch it. Another one. Again, a documentary. Everybody, oh my god, getting up in arms here. But it's one on Netflix again, and that is the Movies That Made Us series, docu series, which is not your typical documentary. Let me get that out there. It's we've seen the Toys That Made Us, the first season of the Movies That Made Us, and then some other stuff. It's nostalgia porn, is what it is. They go back and go back to some of the toys that again made us, and the He-Man toys. Speaking of which, Transformers, the movies. I think the first season had uh, Die Hard or Home Alone. I think it was like a Christmas one. Either way, this one here, it focuses on 4 movies, 4 episodes, and talking about like really 4 big movies here. We got they take us an in-depth look at Back to the Future, Pretty Woman, Forrest Gump, and Jurassic Park. So these are some big movies, and they kind of talk to some of the cast, the writers, for example, and they kind of tell some of the trials and speed bumps that they encounter as they try to complete the film. Some things are surprising on there. I've seen about 3 episodes so far. I'm missing only the Jurassic Park one, and it's just great. I mean, if you're a cinephile, this to me is a must watch. It really and it's done very tongue in cheek, very entertaining. Chewy, what your thoughts on that?
No, man, I haven't seen the last one, which is the Forrest Gump, and I've seen the other three. And actually, what I find interesting is that kind of you get to look under the hood,
Right,
right?
exactly.
You're not just seeing the end product. Everyone has 2020 hindsight. Oh yeah, it's a great movie. It made billions of dollars, whatever. But But this is you kind of exploring what happened before all that, where it could have been easily cut, put in the background, and gone straight to video for any number of decisions. And you look at the players involved and the decisions they made,
The
and
cast
especially
members that could have been
yes,
or were there and were not there. It's
yeah.
fascinating. Yeah,
Like for example, Eric Stoltz in as
Marty McFly. Yeah,
McFly,
yeah.
Marty McFly. I was like,
Yeah, which
whoa,
I had
holy
known
cow!
before because I saw the test screening years ago. But that's not I don't know if people will realize that or know that. But yeah, it does show him. I think they shot a few 6 weeks with him as Marty
Yeah,
McFly, and
yeah.
they realized
No,
this shit's not
this ain't
working. Yeah,
working.
so they want their original choice was my God, I can't think of his name now. Alex P. Keaton, of course, Family Ties. Michael J. Fox, I'm sorry. And, he was not available. Then after they got rid of Stoltz, they were able to bring him on board, and the rest, I'll just say, is history. And we're all the better for it. I love Back to the Future. Like Jurassic Park, Forrest Gump. Even Purdue Woman, that's a great, I'm not my favorites, but it was incredibly successful. Let's call it what it is, and then launched the career of
Yeah.
Julia Roberts. It's facts. But they do have George Alexander, of course, is there.
Hey man, launched the career of George
Yeah, George
Costanza, man.
Costanza, right? That kind of spearheaded right into Seinfeld after that. So listen, there's a lot of cool stories in there about these films. So definitely, I must watch if you love movies. And again, good point, Chewy, looking under the hood, absolutely for you. Another one here we'll talk about. We're kind of late to the party on this because the show's been out for a while. I recently just got Apple Plus and all that. I know Chewy, you want to talk about this one as well. And
Well,
oh,
let's go back and let's address that statement. You did not get Apple Plus. Someone gave you
well,
Apple Plus.
it doesn't matter how I was able to,
You know, it's called a
engross
spade, all
myself
right?
in this streaming service. The point is, I have it now. That's all I need to be said.
That's true. That's
The
just true. Okay,
means
yeah.
is unimportant. It's the ends here, and the ends is
We don't need to look at the hood. You just need
right.
to start the
We're not
engine. All
doing
right.
the streaming channels that made us anytime soon here. We got it. I got Apple Plus. That being said, we both started watching. Actually, finished. I'm not sure if you did. Ted Lasso.
Almost.
It's a show that I've heard about for a while, and it's so funny. And Sudeikis is great. I think I'm nominated for a bunch of Emmys and all that stuff, if I'm not mistaken. So basically, you have
23
three
Emmys.
Emmys. So we have Jason Sudeikis,
No, 23.
23. Oh
23
wow!
Emmy
So
nominations.
there
Yeah.
you go. So a lot of hype for this show. I'm like, is this show worth the hype? Right? I finished watching it, and basically, it's Sudeikis playing this Ted Lasso. He's from the States. He gets hired to coach a team in England, a soccer team, and in hopes that he'd fail. The owner wanted not to succeed. And of course, things happen, and he befriends everybody. And some success kind of goes here and there. But I gotta say, listen, it's not as funny as I thought it was going to be. Right? It's not a knee slapper, right? Not spitting out your coke when you're watching the show. It's not happening. It's funny, it's amusing, but this show is really, really good, and it's incredibly inspiring. And I'll say that. And when you're watching Sudeikis, at first you're like, dude, this guy's annoying. I didn't like the character the first 2 episodes, but he just grows on you, and it's impossible not to like him by halfway through the show. It's one of the most likable characters you're gonna find. He's so genuine. It's like, man, he's the kind of guy you wish you had in your life. He's just he's so earnest and sincere, and I just love how he's done. And although he's got these obstacles too, I'm not sure how far you into the show, but he's able to overcome that and all that. Really cool show to watch. Chewy, what are your thoughts on this one?
I'm gonna push back a little bit that it's not knee slap funny because it has its definite moments. And
It's
obviously,
got humor.
it plays
Yeah,
around.
I was
I
laughing
mean,
at
the
times.
humor,
Yeah.
yeah, the humor derives because obviously he's not a soccer coach. He is a
He's a
football
football
coach,
coach, right? Yeah.
a college football successful, relatively college football coach who just literally thrust into however you gotta accept the premise. He's going to coach a English Premier League soccer. So this is from Division II college championship to the top of the hill in one of the major leagues around the world in a sport that he's never coached.
Right.
And,
And he's a
and obviously
foreigner, and no one likes him.
yes, he brings his Americanism and his nuances and the words, and obviously a lot of the jokes are around that and the wordplay with the
A lot of
English, right? The King's English,
a lot of
I should say in
movie references he
quotations.
quotes all the time, which for
Yes,
me is I love it.
yeah.
But yeah, no one likes him. But again, at the end of the show, you can't not like him. It's impossible.
No, and I think that happens in the show
yeah,
where it's
exactly.
like
Yeah,
whether he's genuine, but the way it comes across. But obviously, you can see the coaching aspect as
oh
he knows
yeah,
what buttons to
yeah,
push.
yeah, yeah.
You don't have to be a soccer savant to to understand coaching and motivating players and getting the best out of them,
Yeah.
right? And understand, and which obviously they don't focus too much on the soccer. It's more the interaction with the team, the owner, the wives, the girlfriends, the managers, and everyone else
And in
around
his
him.
own
But
life, but he
I
left a child and his wife
yes,
behind in the States and all that.
yes,
So yeah.
yeah. But I mean, I find it. I mean, there's a lot of humorous moments throughout each episode
Agreed.
that I enjoy, and I find it to be very very funny. I mean, it's so I'm gonna push back that it's not. I like I said, I got hooked onto it. I was like, okay, let me check it out. I saw the reviews and it's like I jumped on, and I'm so glad I did. Now, season 2 just started last week. It drops every Friday, and I'm looking forward to this
Yeah, I
season.
haven't started season two. I'm going to start season two. Listen, this is a must
Yeah,
watch. Let me make that perfectly clear. It's a really good show. It's legit. Believe the hype. This isn't one division with 23 Emmys. That nonsense. This is a legitimate good show that actually deserved to get this many Emmy nominations because he's great. The cast is great, and the show's very, very well written. So I'm looking forward to season two, and we'll probably talk about that down the road. Probably watch the first couple episodes. I want to get a good feel. I always like to talk about a show after 3 episodes or so to get an idea of
yeah,
you know how it's shaping up and all that. It may not mean out because it could end crappy. We've seen it before, but it gives us a taste of what we're seeing here. Because season one, season two, anything can happen. So looking forward to it. And as again, that show, I definitely recommend you guys watching. The last one here we're going to talk about, and this is Chewy because I haven't seen this one yet. We talked about it in the inaugural episode of the watch list. You only see one episode. I think you probably 2 or 3 in already, and that's AMC Plus original series, The Beast Must Die. Chewy kind of talks about the show, and you've seen a couple more episodes, or because you weren't too sure when you after the first one. So where are you now with this?
correct. So obviously tonight's episode 3, but I've seen the first 2 episodes, and where I was unsure after the first episode because the first episode was heavy on setup, right, and understanding the characters, and so it was hard to follow because it's a lot of flashbacks, and trying to understand her the protagonist is a woman, a mother who lost a child due to a car accident, but you're trying to figure out what's going on because they introduced a new police officer. They introduced some auxiliary characters. They don't bring the antagonist until episode 2, which is played by Ed Harris, I believe. But once he's on screen, that's where the show takes off. And I was like, okay, this is what I signed up for. And so if you're into British crime dramas, British police dramas, this is up your alley. Definitely much watch. And so like, get through episode 1, understand the setup, but episode 2 takes off right from the beginning with him, and so you can see who the 2 main players are. But also, obviously, then they kind of explain more on the police investigations or lack thereof, and kind of takes it now becomes more of a procedural and kind of expand from
Yeah,
there.
I think it's Jared Harris. You were mentioning that, not Ed Harris.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah,
Jared Harris. Sorry, my bad.
yeah. Really good
Ron
actor by
Harris.
the way.
Yeah,
I love both guys, but yeah, yeah, just to
yeah,
because I know Ed Harris is a little bit different. But either way,
yeah.
so okay,
No,
yeah.
Jared Harris. I love from the Expanse, obviously, and it plays Anderson Dawes in the Expanse, sci-fi slash Amazon Prime series. So
Good show,
great
Amazon
guy.
Prime too. We love sci-fi. Expanse is a must watch as far as I'm concerned. I know you're a big fan of that show, Chewy, but yeah, so maybe I'll give this one a try. Let's see. So that's all for this week. Listen, a lot of good stuff in here. Masters Universe. Don't listen to the hate. I think you should watch it. Obviously, Beast Must Die. Ted Lasso is legit, no doubt about it. And Kingdoms, I show that the movie is good. Go back and watch it. I love. If again, Blood Sky, it's good, solid. Check it out. But Jolt, no, that movie made me mad like she was. I couldn't watch this. That movie was terrible. I finished it because my girlfriend wanted to keep watching it. So, but again, she likes everything. She's Mikey from the commercial. Like she likes it. She likes it. So whatever. That being said,
Well,
don't
I
watch it.
mean, she did. She did. I mean, fess up. She did supposedly, and I say quotations, force you to watch that Korean show, syphilis,
Sisyphus.
whatever
Yeah,
that
she like
Sisyphus.
for her. Let's at the barometer with my girlfriend. I'll say she likes everything, right? But doesn't mean it's good. She just likes it. If she hates something, it's bad. Like there's no question. There's
Yeah.
no defensive opinion there. She'll agree if you think it sucks. If she says it's good, it means nothing to me. It's like whatever. She'll watch anything. Whatever. Sorry, baby. I love you. That being said, let's end it there. I am debuting a new show this week, the Nerd Splaining. We have the podcast on with comedian Eric De Silva. We go take a deep dive in all things nerd and comics, shows, news, movies, whatever. We're debuting 2 episodes this week. We have a lot of guests that come on. We had a good friend Omar, who was in one of the artists in Luca. We had a John Levine, who was appeared in Loki. So hoping to bring more guests on once we get our format straight on YouTube. So looking forward to that. Yeah, check us out. I'll put the links to the previous to watch list episodes on there. Again, subscribe, support the channel, Latinos. We love you out there, man. A lot of good stuff on TV you should watch. And we'll see you guys next week.
Peace.